Hello and welcome to this Project in a Box video session. We're going to be looking at Planner version 5, and this is the first of two detailed videos taking you through the new features that are included. So let's have a look at what we're going to be covering. In this first session we're going to look at the calendar view, the Milestones Timeline display, and setting colours for your risk ratings. So I've got my Planner file here. As usual, we've got the file type set up, so I can just click on the file. It will open using Planner, and initially you should see no real difference. As soon as you upgrade, you'll find that you've got the same tabs you had before: plans, risks and issues, or some of them switched on and off depending on your particular mode of operation, and the tasks information here in the plan will look exactly the same. What you will see now is two extra tabs up at the top. So if I go to calendar, I see a calendar display with my plan information showing here, also my task information, also my risk and issue information as well. And I can come to the particular tasks and hover on them, and it'll show me information about them. So the way the format works is you have a solid red block for the first day of an activity, and then if it rolls on afterwards you see that as a continuing bar like we've got here. We've got milestones showing in black here, and we've also got a colour for risks and issues. So tasks are normal tasks are in red, milestones are in black, which follows the format of the plan usually. So this one's got a percentage complete showing in it, so we've got reds and blacks like that, and then we've got risks and issues showing with an icon just to pick them out as different. So we've got issues with the question mark and risks with the exclamation icon, and again you can set the colours for these as well, but we've gone for yellows and reds which match the structure we use in the reporting. So as you hover over these items you'll find some basic information about them. Assuming you've got the hover on, you'll see here, and of course we can use the navigation to proceed through. So I can move through to April. You'll see today's date always shows with a blue header, so you can find that nice and easily. And if you've got lots of items showing on a day, too many to see in the space, so we can see probably 4 items on a day, it'll then show you in the header of the day plus whatever, so +5 or +6 if there's extra ones to see. And you can see extra ones by switching from a month to view to a week to view, and then you get the activities for the particular week. Obviously we can run through the weeks in question like that to find the particular day we're interested in, and when we've got ones with more activities you'll see them spreading down the page. So we've got a few more in this particular day here. So pretty straightforward to use that view. If you want the full detail or to edit the particular item, you can simply double click on it and it will open the appropriate form. So here we're dealing with when it's tasks, so let's do task first I guess. We'll see the information for the task, the normal task form, and we can alter it as we need, and press OK when we're done, and that will feed back in. So it's exactly the same as if we were editing it from the Gantt chart. Not everybody's comfortable with Gantt charts, whereas the milestone view gives you, the calendar view gives you a very clear layout of things that are happening today. Now this actually responds to the view as well. So if you're running a filtered view in your plan, then you will see a filtered set of tasks showing here. The same as if you're running a filtered view of risks and issues, you'll see a different set of risks and issues here. So you can go and filter for all tasks associated with you, for example, if you want to do that. So getting our information onto here is straightforward. It just happens automatically. Updating things, again, just open them, make the changes, save it back, and once you've made changes you can then save the plan here in the normal way. Now risks and issues, you just need to unpick a little bit, because the risks and issues themselves don't actually have any dates. Well, they do, but the date you have is the date it was created, and that's not always the thing you particularly want. Otherwise it's always way back in the calendar. So what we're showing on here is actually any responses which have a due date. So we've got this particular risk has a response, and that response has a due date, which is 28th of February, and that's why it's showing on the 28th of February. So it's not the allocation date of the response, it's not the date the particular risk or issue was set up, it's the due response date. That's what makes it appear on the calendar, because that's when we need to address it by. Hopefully that makes good sense. So very easy to pick these up and use them. You can copy this if you want to use it by right clicking, copy as image to clipboard, or also show as an iCalendar file. So you can take that and use that elsewhere to set up this calendar in other locations for you. So some really useful features there around calendar, just trying to find a different way of sharing the information with other users. Coming to the milestone chart, this is again a simplification of the display of the project, finding that people are using these in their reports more and more. Often that they've been drawn by hand, in PowerPoint or something. So this is creating one for you, and what it's doing is it's identifying the date range of the project in months. It's finding the date the project starts and the date it finishes, which you get automatically as black milestones, and then it's finding any other milestones present in the plan, and it's dropping them onto the appropriate place on the timeline. We've got today's date, and then it's showing an icon for that milestone based on its percentage complete. So again, we can hover for information, and we can click to get access to the task, which is always going to be a milestone in this case, and we can see any of the information about that here, and of course update it as well. So what we can see here is that we've got an overdue milestone. We've got a complete one and an overdue one. The definition of overdue means that it should have been complete by now. It's not showing as 100% complete. So if I just slide that up to 100%, close that, we'll see it's now showing as complete. You have a range of options for how you want to set up labels here. You can have labels within the line. I've gone for below the line here. You can have them associated directly to the milestones, but in practice, as long as you've only got one or two in a month, that will work. But once you've got more than that, really you need to lay them out below as we've got here. So range of options for sorting all that sort of thing out, and that's all of course in your view. So if we come back to the views here and edit my view, you'll see here the milestone chart. It's got something that allows you to switch on and off the indicators, show the IDs, so show labels in chart or below chart, decide how big things are going to be, how many you're going to bother showing, etc. So normal sort of mode of adjusting these things. You've got some settings there that allow you to set it up how you want to. That's saved in the view. So if you switch to a different view, you might find a different set of options being shown here, but it means you can set that up and save it how you want it. Again, we can copy this and use this straight away into a document. Of course, when these are loaded back into the main application, you'll be able to get these sort of displays included as standard parts of your reporting. And of course, when we do our print options here, so let's just do the options for essentially the reporting out of Planner directly. We can pick up calendars and milestones if that's what we want. In fact, we might just switch off, so we might not bother with the Gantt chart view. We'll go for a task list and a risk list, and summary as issue summary as well, and then that's going to go away and generate a report with those bits of content in for me. Sorry, let's just do a preview instead. So generating those things for me. There's my task list, there's my risk summary, my issue summary, my responses, my calendar, my milestones. So if I don't want to build something manually by copying and pasting the various images and using them again, I can have that generated for me into the reporting from Planner. But like I say, really we're probably going to want to bring those out into the main application and get the reporting from there for users of the main application. So that's all, say, pretty straightforward. As soon as you load your plan up, it'll be available in this mode. When you save it, it's obviously going to save with your settings that you want in your views as well. The other item we're going to have a look at on here is about color coding the ratings. So for keen observers, you will notice that before, the color coding that you saw on your risk table was color coding for the status, and we've used a red, amber, green associated with the status of it, whether it was open, under action or closed. That's confused some people, I think it's fair to say, who wanted to just colour based on the significance of the risk, its rating. And you've always been able to change the colour of statuses, and often people have gone to 3 different grades of grey or 3 different grades of blue, for example, or taken colours off entirely. But now you can do those same things again, but you can also colour the ratings themselves, and that works on a banding system. So if I show you where we do that, which is in Manage Lookups, this lookups list is now extended somewhat. So we've got risk statuses, and that's the one we saw before with open action pending close, with our colours showing against those. So what we want here is risk rating rag, and we can see we've got a band here. So we've got anything 8 and above is going to show as red, anything between 8 and 4 is going to show as amber, anything between 4 and 0 is going to show as green. Pretty straightforward. We can change those colours nice and easily if we want to, by picking them in the colour picker or by specifying our own particular colour. So it's very easy to set those up, and that same banding will apply to your inherent and your residual colours. So we can see here we've got a risk which was inherently at 4.2, and it's got a residual risk of now 2.4, and that's dropped it from one band to the other. So if we click on that particular risk, we can see those colours showing up here. Makes it nice and easy to see what's going on with those particular risks, and obviously that's triggered by these sliders. If we come and find a different one and perhaps just play around with it a little bit, so we could make this significant. It's going to drop up into red here. The residual we might make into a orange as well, and we can then start to see those things coming through and showing back on here. So it's up to you to set those bands to be what you want, and you can save those of course into the plan as we've seen there. So some really useful things there about displaying, getting your message across about the management of these. You'll see when we did our print preview earlier that these are coming through onto the outputs that you generate for printing as well, and these will also work on the main application as well when you check your plans back in on the new version. So that's covering the material from the first slide, the first tour that we wanted to do with new Planner version 5. That's calendars, milestones, colours. The second session is going to be much more around more detailed data, statuses, issue impacts, progress to date stats, and exporting more detailed stats through to the main application. So hopefully you'll want to stay on and see that next video. It'll be about the same sort of duration, 5 or 10 minutes. Okay, thank you very much.